Stay tuned to PBS 39 as we focus on the arts and share the work of a Lehigh Valley-based mosaic maker. See how broken becomes beautiful in the hands of this artist. Then take a trip to Mock Turtle Marionette Theater to meet the puppeteer behind these handcrafted wooden figures. These stories, plus the local author and one of the illustrators behind the book, Superhero Mom Powers Activate, coming up right now on Focus. Focus is for our community.
Focus showcases the people,
The places, and the issues that matter to you.
Focus on what matters.
You never know what you're going to see when you tune into Focus.
Support for Focus is provided by Univest, Banking, Insurance, Investments, Fellowship Community, Continuing Care with Spirit, and by viewers like you. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us as we focus on the arts. I'm Laura McHugh, and we're broadcasting from the PPL Public Media Center at PBS 39 in Bethlehem. We didn't have to travel far from our studios to find the talented artist featured in our first story. Here's Focus reporter Brittany Garzillo with more.
Thanks, Laura. Once you see the work of local artist Kim Hogan, you may never look at glass the same way again. Kim uses a myriad of colors to make each one of her masterfully crafted mosaics. For her, each piece is a labor of love.
Through a looking glass, Kim Hogan appears to assemble a puzzle. One made of glistening glass.
It's kind of like doing a jigsaw puzzle, only I get to decide where the pieces fit.
In her studio at the Banana Factory Arts Center in South Bethlehem, Kim works on a canvas made of plywood.
I do the original drawing on the plywood first, and then I cut the pieces of glass and then glue them in place to create the image.
Guided by a series of photos, she uses a sharp eye and shards of glass to create her next mosaic masterpiece.
Sometimes I have a clear vision of what it's going to look like in the end, and sometimes it's a journey.
Quite like her journey as an artist, a passion she discovered at 10 years old.
I think maybe my art teacher had something to do with it, really acknowledged that I had something special.
An award-winning artist, Kim eventually found her muse.
I was doing a lot of murals and watercolor portraits, and I started to do mosaics. I was going through a really devastating divorce, and that's when things started to change. For one thing, it felt really good to smash things. It was very cathartic, and it also represented taking something that was broken and restructuring it into something beautiful.
Her works range from 2 to 3 dimensions and depict everything from flowers and butterflies to animals and an angel. No two capture the light quite the same.
The ideas come from everywhere. I mean, everywhere you look, there's ideas, so you just have to make them happen.
The process doesn't happen overnight.
Oh, it's a labor of love. The plus side for me is it's very meditative.
A piece can take days or months to create.
I just love coming back and visiting this piece. It's one of my favorites. I think it might be my masterpiece.
One of Kim's largest pieces decorates a wall inside Warner Art Glass Center in Whitehall, a 4-foot-high and 7-foot-wide mosaic titled Cherry Blossoms.
It has a meaning of hope, serenity. It's a peaceful looking piece to me. But there's also a lot of magic happening.
Magic produced by intricate pieces of mirrors, tiles, and plates.
The more you look, the more you see.
I've always been impressed. We have probably 5 or 6 pieces that she's made here, all the way down to a piece that looks like it's made out of fingernail clippings just about. The pieces are so small.
Some of Kim's mosaics portray circus scenes, pieces she hopes to use as illustrations in her own children's book someday.
Somebody told me once that it's never too soon to live your dreams, and I think I've waited too long. So.
But when it comes to her work, a montage of broken made beautiful. Kim hopes others feel that it's never too late to stop and stare.
I hope that people are able to look at my art for a while, just really let it soak in, and find the complexities and simplicities, and find beauty in the piece of work. That would be my greatest wish.
For Focus, I'm Brittany Garzillo, reporting.
Thank you, Brittany. Our next story features the often whimsical works of a nearby marionette theater that has entertained kids and families in and around the Lehigh Valley for 40 years. Here's Focus reporter Grover Silcox with the story of Mock Turtle Marionette Theater.
Oh, goodness gracious, look. He has brought tears to the Emperor's eyes.
As a master puppeteer and director, Doug Royston breathes life into his puppets and their performances.
With a little help from our friends, the ghosts.
Look. What I'll do is bring the Emperor closer to you.
Doug established Mock Turtle Marionette Theater in 1978 and named it after a character in Lewis Carroll's Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. In Bethlehem, he's turned the second floor of the Charles A. Brown Ice House into his Wonderland.
He's our resident artist.
Oh, look at my hands.
That's what we call the loft up there, and that was the puppet theater.
Let me see it again. Okay, keep it.
Mock Turtle performs original shows and adaptations of classic folktales for kids and families at the Ice House and other venues throughout the Lehigh Valley. For his next show, Doug has created some very special puppets to star in Hans Christian Andersen's The Emperor's Nightingale.
Marionettes are very physical, but these are even more physical. And this is weird because, not weird, but this is kind of exciting because it's two people working together on the same physical thing. You got this pole, that we call it a back pole, and you can actually twist this and make this move and go forward and move.
Oh, we have to find something.
Look at the amount of physicality this is. This is a very physical thing to do. Muddy brown feathers.
With this kind of puppet, the audience actually sees the puppeteers.
Basically, if you are totally absorbed in doing the puppet, then the audience will totally absorb itself in the puppet.
Doug finds inspiration for his creations in each show script and crafts new puppets for every story.
It is about the script, and it's not necessarily about words. It's about how the play moves. How's the stories told? You have a notion of what's interesting to kids, you know, and then you know at a certain point you better think things better get crazy, you know.
Once the script is written, Doug sketches the characters.
The puppet making process is a bunch of little drawings, maybe that big. You might make the full drawing based on that and then rework them as mechanical things from there.
Doug also makes set pieces and props.
I'm not going to do a lot of brown, but I'm going to just jam a little brown in here.
Alongside the show's assistant artistic director, Doug fine-tunes individual scenes.
We went through like puppet pairings throughout the play and just looked at, okay, how are these puppets relating to each other? And is there a chemistry that's going back and forth?
For this show, the Bach Choir of Bethlehem will perform along with Mock Turtle. So with Bach and his music in mind, Doug designed the puppets for The Emperor's Nightingale.
This is all Bach period clothes, German 18th century clothes. It's a wonderful chance to really take this great story and add Johann Sebastian Bach to it, and wow, what fun. This is it, guys. This is your moment.
The kind of fun that inspires, enriches, and entertains through the ageless art of puppetry and master puppeteers like Doug
Would there
Royston.
really be such a creature in my empire?
For Focus, I'm Grover Silcox reporting.
Thank you, Grover. We now turn the focus from the performing arts to the art of writing. A local author and one of her talented illustrators recently stopped by the studio. As a parent, do you ever feel like you need superpowers just to get through the day? Well, according to our guest, Heather Coons, we have them. We just need to learn how to use them. In addition to being the owner of her own marketing firm, Zenspire, Heather is the author of Superhero Mom Powers Activate, How Moms Can Be It All and Have It All. Welcome, Heather.
Thank you.
And you've brought along one of your illustrators, Addison.
Yes.
And how old is Addison? How old are you, Addison?
5.
Hi. Well, you are one of the youngest guests we've ever had on the show, and we're so grateful that you both joined us today.
Thank you for having us.
Heather, what was happening in your life at the time you decided to write Superhero Mom Powers Activate?
Well, all children are busy with activities. The activities today have taken on greater intensity, they're more involved, parents are more involved, there's greater presence needed, and my husband and I have always wanted to support anything that our children want to do. And about the fall of 2012, both of our boys had kind of a pivotal point in pursuing one of their passions. My oldest son had his first opportunity for a main stage show with Pennsylvania Youth Theater, and my middle son was invited to the competition team at Parkettes, both of which are very time-consuming activities.
And you were working full-time?
I was working full-time. I had always worked full-time up until that point when their schedules literally collided. And my husband and I wanted to be able to support them, but someone needed to physically take them to and from. And I started just journaling, just writing down little stories about our journeys in the car and our adventures, and just kind of writing notes to myself that I didn't want to forget. And then I realized that, you know, there's a lot of parents out there, moms and dads, who can relate to this. And I took a step back and thought, what does it really take to get this all done? So it's the obvious, it's the patience, it's the presence, it's the balance, and quite honestly, it's, in my opinion, it's some superhero powers as well.
So in this book, you share a lot of fun stories from your own family life, but it's also illustrated by your 3 children.
Absolutely.
What did you find out when you asked your children to draw a superhero mom like yourself?
Well, the process started off as honestly it was just an art project. I found some whimsical fairies, stickers of whimsical fairies, that if I had to describe what my illustration should look like, it was definitely them. But then I thought I could draw that myself. So it turned into more of an activity and a way to connect with the family. I drew one, had all 3 of the kids draw their own perspective of that same one. Some of the illustrations have purses, some of the illustrations have leopard shoes, which was really funny and a cool way to connect with the kids, because I didn't tell them to do that. That was their own perception of me as a superhero mom, and as well as you know, adding in their own artistic flair as well.
What was it like drawing all the different illustrations? You have several illustrations throughout the book, Addison. What's Mommy wearing on her head? A crown, and she has a cape on as well. Why does she have a crown and a cape in all those pictures?
Because she's a super mom.
Because she's a super mom. So Heather, in this book, you list 10 different superpowers, and a chapter is devoted to each one of those powers. Everything from a sense of balance to a sense of humor. And then the illustrations are listed in there as well. So show us your favorite, Addison. Will you hold it up like this? Why is that one your favorite?
Because I like the purple cape.
What's coming out of that wand?
Magic.
Magic powers. Heather, of all the superpowers that you list, which do you think are the most important or the most meaningful to you?
Well, they all kind of go hand in hand, absolutely. As I sat down and reflected on each one, each superhero power kind of sets the stage or sets the tone for the journey and the adventures that we go on. But I definitely think that presence and patience are the 2 that stand out the most to me. It definitely takes a lot of patience to coordinate all these activities and to get the kids, you know, to and from where they need to be. And presence is really important right now. Whether you're driving your child to an activity, especially if he's a teenager like my 16-year-old, you may not say one word. He might be texting the entire time. But to me, it's about having that opportunity to be present, that if he wanted to talk about anything, I'm there. I'm you know, in that time frame of taking him back and forth.
Great. Did you want to show us another one, Addison? Okay, go ahead, show us. What's special about this one?
Pink and orange.
Pink and orange.
And I see another one with magic coming out of it. So it seems like in all the pictures that Addison drew, you're wearing a crown and you have a cape on. What did that mean to you to see that she saw you as sort of a superhero princess or a superhero queen?
Well, I'm not going to lie, I love all the princesses for Disney. My family were all big Disney fans. So to incorporate that into our own version of superheroes and superhero powers was pretty exciting.
And I think that there's a lot of people out there who are watching who have maybe always dreamed of writing a book. Was this a dream of yours?
Absolutely. I've always been a writer, whether it be a newspaper or all the way through college and doing marketing communications my entire career. I always have a notebook with me, so I'm always jotting something down that I either need to remember or that I want to reflect on later. So this was it started off just journaling different things that I wanted to remember about this time of our children's lives. And that's when I realized that a lot of other people could relate to it as well. So I turned it into a whole story and a book.
And so at the end of this book, we don't find out, but you actually start your own marketing company. So tell us what you're doing now.
Okay, absolutely. I started my own marketing company called Zenspire Communications, and I started it in June of 2015. Full-fledged agency. Go ahead. I bring on freelancers as I need. If I need a developer or a designer, I could do anything any other agency can do. And it was really an opportunity for me to connect with others on telling their story. I'm a huge storyteller. It's all about shouting your story from the rooftops. And that's been able to give me that opportunity to tell other stories as well.
Well, at the same time, using your subtitle, How Moms Can Be It All and Have It All. Thank you so much, Heather, and especially to you, Addison. You want to show us one more before we leave? Can we say goodbye? Okay. Let's see. Thank you so much, Addison, and thank you, Heather.
Thank you for having us.
50% of the proceeds from the sales of Heather's book go to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. More information is available at superheromompowers.com. Throughout the year, PBS 39 celebrates the work of student artists. Here's our latest Artist of the Month.
I'm Joy Fan, and I'm the PBS 39 Artist of the Month. I play piano and keyboard. I play in our school's orchestra for violin, and I joined our school's jazz band to play keyboard. It's definitely rewarding to see my peers' reactions to all the hard work that I've done. To be a great artist, you have to be able to work hard and not quit at what you love to do. As long as you try hard, you will always reach what you want to achieve. I'm Joy Fan, and I'm honored to be the PBS 39 Artist of the Month.
We're missing Grover today, but don't worry, he'll be back next week. But Brittany, we really enjoyed your piece with Kim Hogan, and she must use thousands of small pieces of glass on some of those larger mosaics that she creates.
Yeah, she does. It just depends on the size. So some of them will be larger pieces, and then other times you saw as small as a fingernail, and she puts them all together so intricately placed. She even works with members of the community on some of her pieces, and also she teaches as well, so she's truly sharing the art of mosaics with the community.
Thanks so much, Brittany, and thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week. Until then, remember to focus on what matters. This program is recorded at the PPL Public Media Center at PBS 39 in Bethlehem.